Hi, this is Big Frank with my good friend Mac in the background for another episode today. We're just going to touch on some pointers that I think people need to hear. Like, it's okay to be talking about what you should do and what you shouldn't do and how you messing up your life and everything, but reality is that, you know, life is not really here for you, so you have to make the most of your life. Do you know what I mean? Because we make a lot of excuses for why we can't do this and all of our situations, why we're doing this and why we're doing that, but we got to think long term now. You know, like, after we do this and we do that, what's the next step? Because I sit down and I look at my life sometimes and I ask myself questions now that I'm more clearer, more focused in my journey. Like, Frank, why did you really do what you did? You know, like, okay, I get it. Mum didn't have no money and this and that growing up. Everything was hard, but that was just for a time. Because my mum and dad, they worked hard, you know, they went from not having to having. But then I was still doing what I was doing. So really and truly now, the excuse is not that I'm doing it to help them, was not even justified anymore. I was starting to do it for myself. So now the little bit of respect or like justification that I had gone, because mum and dad has started to excel in life. My brothers are excelling in life, so like they didn't need my help no more, but I was still out here doing the most. So what I'm trying to say is, like, we got to look at the bigger picture, because what we start off as the reason doesn't end up being the reason why we stay in the game and why we're doing what we're doing. And when you're in the game, we always think that, you know what, I'm in the game for 10 years, I'm in the game for 20 years, I'm in the game for 40 years. Like, there's not much that we can do afterwards, or maybe nobody's going to touch me afterwards if I want to come out of the game. Or we think, oh, let's go and start up our own businesses. But you don't realize sometimes when you want to come out, because you've been in there so long and you've burnt so many bridges and you damaged your credit and this and that, like, all you've got left is what you've made or what you actually saved, if you did save anything to work with. But life is more than just what you can accumulate doing moves. You know what I mean? The credit, for example, like, there's people that are not in the street that can get credit for houses. You can get credit for phones. You can get money to buy more money. Do you know what I mean? When you restrict yourself to these street life, you kind of like blacklist yourself from all these opportunities that life has. Life is hard, but the thing is, there are ways that you can enjoy life if you're ready to work for it and be patient about it. Because me, when I finally did come out, that was when my life started to make sense. I looked around, nobody would touch me at first. Like, even the job centre wouldn't even give me gyros. It's like I've put myself in such a hole, I couldn't climb out. Even when people give me rope, as I'm pulling the rope to climb up, I'm falling back down with the rope. Because the thing is, people will give you a helping hand, but then when they realise what you're here for, they kind of let go of that rope. And I can't blame people, because the thing is, I've had a second chance, I've had a third chance, I've had a fourth chance. And after every chance, I went back to the same place that they gave me the first chance. So what I'm trying to say is, like, we need to start putting more respect on ourselves and not just using up all our chances and try and find a way out, because there is ways out. Do you know what I mean? I changed my life around. I never thought nobody would employ me, but I've been working in the gym for like, God knows, like good 15 years now. You know, I got the shot. You know, somebody spoke to Louis Durkin in Muscleworks, and then I'm working there, and I haven't left there since. It changed my life. You know what it is? I didn't see the same purpose like I saw in the street, because in the street you're making a certain amount of money every weekend, and like, you know what I mean, there's enough fulfillment because you can go and do things. But the thing is, there was always a pressure. My money came with a risk. My money came with an expectancy. Do you know what I mean? Like, for every pound I took in, I was expecting, you know, that knock on the door. I was expecting maybe someone to boot in my door. I was expecting, you know, something bad to happen outside, because that money comes with a risk. But being in the gym now, I was like, I was working, and I was like, wow, I'm making money without the drama. So it started to make sense to me, like, this is what I always wanted. Do you know, like, I did all them years just to be where I'm at now. You know, but sitting in the gym, it was slow. There was many times I played with the idea of going back into the game, because, do you know what, when you got one client, you're thinking like, wow, like, how am I gonna live the life that I've created for myself? But that's when you start to realize things like, we create things that are not sustainable. Do you know what I mean? They're only sustainable because we put pressure on ourselves to go back out and to acquire that lifestyle. But this lifestyle comes at a price. And the thing is, right, even if you're able to get it, yeah, there's still the price of your health, the pressure that you put on yourself to sustain a lifestyle so you can be relevant to people. When you're working, it's not about people. You don't care if people rate you or do this, because the thing is, it takes a big man to actually realize that he needs to be working, because the thing is, you put yourself in a position where the right people will rate you, the right people can elevate you. You put yourself in a position where you can do big things. You know, you now become from that scumbag to the role model, the proper role model, that people can look at you and parents can talk about you and use you as examples for their kids. You know, my one dream in life is always to be the perfect role model for my brothers, for my kids, for family, for everybody. I haven't been that. But for the past 10, 15 years, I've been rebuilding that. The pages of my life story have been soiled for years. You know, now I just focus on the empty pages, because that's where I'll put the testimonies when I start to rewrite my legacy, because I'm all about change now. You know, I'm not perfect. I still make a few mistakes, but the thing is, the direction of my life is so focused now. You know, I'm working. I'm so happy to be working. Anybody that comes to me, I encourage them to work. And that there is a big change for me, because anyone who's been in the streets knows that just to make that transition, it's not easy. And that deserves a big round of applause, because it's definitely not easy. Because what you want and what you can have is completely in like two different worlds, like being on the street and working. Because when you're in the street, you can afford most things. But when you're working, you can't afford most things. But the thing is, you have more value for the things that you do need. So it's completely different. You learn priorities. You learn value. You ain't getting no pension on the street. I tell you that now, you ain't getting no pension on the street. You'll be lucky to even be alive to pension age on the street. But working, also, you may not make it to pension side. But the thing is, just working and every paycheck is paying towards something. Do you know? So I'm a big advocate of working, and I'm just, you know, for everything I've done in my life, the one thing I can sit down and say that I'm fully proud of, outside of family and everything, is the fact that I've got a job. It means the world to me, because like it literally saved my life. You know, I was lost. When I mean lost, I was lost. Just like some of the kids out here today, I was lost. I was that guy, like, you know, like, I didn't see no way out. I didn't see, like, that you know, that light at the end of the tunnel. I didn't see it, because everything was submerged in this world, or this reality that, you know what is, I can only get this if I'm staying here. I can only get this if I do this, and if I can only get this, I do this. But you know what? Money shouldn't really cost you lives. Money shouldn't cost you pain. Money shouldn't cost you all these things. Do you know what I mean? As I've touched in my other episodes, like, we're prepared to do too much and lose too much just to have that pound note in our hands. It's too much, man. People need to get more focused in life now. You know, like, waking up is the biggest blessing you get in life. So when you get up every day, just know that God has said to you, you know what? I'm giving you a second chance to change your life. Do you know what I mean? So then you less focus on being focused. You know, look for options. You know, I know it's not as easy as people can say, yeah, Frank, but like, just because you made it out doesn't mean I can make it out, and just because you found the light at the end of the tunnel doesn't mean I found that at the end of the tunnel. Because people do come out, and the thing is, they get lost in the game. And like, literally, when I'm saying you're lost in the game, you come out to nothing. So all you've got left is the game. So you're already lost. But the thing is, there are people that are ready to give you a chance. But it's obviously, it's patience. And yes, I get it. If you've got bills to pay, you got this to pay, patience is not going to help you pay that bill. Fair enough. But I'm saying to you, you got to put some respect on your life, because the thing is, your life is worth that patience. It's worth the patience. You know what I mean? So we just gotta stop making excuses, man. You know, like, yes, you might not have the same budget, but the thing is, you've got a life. You know, a peaceful life is worth everything that you can never afford by staying in the street. Everything you've ever made in the street cannot buy you peace. So we gotta just focus more. You know, like, for me, it's really helped me. It has really helped me. My mental health has completely changed. You know, like, I'm not ashamed to say it, I was a person, like, I suffered with, like, certain confidence in certain areas, because the thing is, I always had to perform. Do you know, it's like to be kind of like assured in yourself, or assured within my circle. You know, I felt like I had to do certain things that, you know, that when I sit down now and think about it, I'm thinking like, bruv, that's stupid. Because a lot of the people that I did these things for, they're not even here no more. So it just means that I've just wasted all this time running around for doing the most for my approval of my circle and myself, and look at me now, I'm not even in the game no more. Half the friends that I have, they're deceased. Like, some of them are doing hefty sentences, and I'm sitting there and I'm thinking to myself, but I wasted a lot of time. You know, this is time that you don't get back. So having that second, let's say fifth chance, and getting a job has really helped me. It's been a true blessing. And yes, money's not the same, but the thing is, with gym, it's helped my mental being, because the times where I feel like You know, you wake up and your mind is playing games with you. You go to gym, it works like a counselor. I train, you know, it's like it eases my mind because it makes you realize like you're able to do this. You know, I'm able to be out and lifting weights. Remember, there was a time where, you know, you could only lift weights when you had to write an app to put it in, and the gov has to actually say that it's okay for you to go gym. Now I'm able to go gym. So things that I'm doing now in my workplace make it like more rewardable to be on this side of the law. Do you know, I meet good people. I sit around like my friends. Like I can speak to my friends anytime I want. I can phone them. These luxuries I didn't have. Even when I was in the street, I didn't have them luxuries to just be phoning all my friends, because the thing is, I was locked into just a certain community. Because with that certain community, they're the only people that I knew that I could trust. I couldn't afford to be gambling with other people because you're not in my world. And the thing is, you might look at me in a different way and think like, do you know what? Because you know a little bit about me, you know, you might find it your duty to go and report me. So I couldn't, that's the reality of it. I couldn't afford to be around like legit people. I couldn't. It may sound stupid, but the thing is, my mind was doing overtime because in the street, like, it was hard enough just trusting the people that you're walking with. It was trusting because the thing is, remember, everybody is trying to get the same thing in the street. So if you're getting everything, and even though you're helping everybody, there's still going to be people that they're not happy. There's still people that are not going to be getting fed like they think they should. So the thing is, that makes people start to think differently. So the thing is, you're always on your toes on the street. You know what is like, every penny, it just comes with a lot of stress. Do you know what I mean? You don't know, you know, I've paid somebody, you don't know if they feel good about themselves. They'll tell you it's good, but the thing is, when they get home, bare cuss words, bare this, bare that. You don't know what people are planning for you, but see, that's the life that you have to live when you're out there. But now I don't think about them things. I go to work, I get paid. I can do things for my family. I can give my kids clean money. I can say to my son, hey, you can have this. I learned how to budget things. Do you know what I mean? When you have so much money, there's not a budget. Because we're making silly money literally every day. So you spend it like it's coming back. As soon as it finishes, like it's coming back again. You don't learn the value of money. Because if you make $5,000, and I know if I'm making $5,000 every week, I know I can afford to spend at least $3,000-4,000 of that money just on willy-nilly, because I know in my head the money's coming back again. But now when you make $5,000 now in legit money, you learn to budget better. You learn to save. You learn to invest in things that, you know, that can preserve your money. Because remember, when you're working, that is the one time you actually connect with yourself and you learn your true potential. Because the thing is, you're working now, and you know it's your duty to work hard enough so you can cover bills at the end of the day. You can work hard enough to give your kids what they need, your partner what they need. So you have to, and the thing is, you're by yourself, because at work you get judged by your own merit. On the streets, I'm as good as the people that are working underneath me, or the people that are working side by side. So you don't really get the full credit for what you do. Do you know what I mean? But here on the working, like, the applause I get is for my effort. My family are proud of me. Do you know what it is at 44 to hear your mum say, like, son, I'm proud of you. Son, keep it up. Like, you don't realize how happy I am right now. These are things that should be standardly said. But you know, it's not a duty of a mother or a father to lie to their child and tell you that they're happy when they're not happy. But when you're living a life that is not bringing them happiness. Do you understand? So we put a lot of pressure on our parents. You know, sometimes like they want to say things, but we mute them because they don't want to upset us. But in the meantime, they're holding back their tears in our presence, even though we're doing wrong. You know, some parents are even scared to tell the kid not to do this or not to do that, because the kid, you've like, when you're out in the street, you acquire character that can keep you sustainable in the street. You have to have that kind of ruthlessness. You have to have that kind of like care not attitude towards it. And sometimes like we tend to want to keep it in the street, but sometimes it does come into the house. You know, you don't realize it's coming into the house, but it starts when people start asking you things and like you feel like you're too big to do certain things, because outside you've got people like maybe your mother's age doing things for you. So you kind of forget yourself sometimes. So like, that's why you've got to be like, think of the longevity of what you're doing, because it's not sustainable. It's not sustainable. Along the way, yes, you can acquire so many things, but you can lose so many things that have more value than any penny that you earned on that street. I keep saying, like, I have the most beautiful family around me, but my family is not the family that I grew up with when I was 8 years old, when I was 10 years old, when I was 12 years old. I'm getting it back now, because the thing is, they always supported me, but the thing is, it's come at a price. Even supporting me has come at a price. You know, like, you'll be happy for me, but you're not happy for me. You hold back a tear so you can keep me motivated with your words, but the thing is, the price that has been paid along the way, just so I can feel good about myself doing what I do. Like, bro, money can't buy back. That time is expired. Do you know? So I have to live with the fact that I've done wrong for so long. Do you know what I mean? So that's why, like, I pushed in this direction. That's why I'm doing what I'm doing, because the thing is, a lot of us are just making money, and you're doing it innocently. You're not hurting people, but the thing is, you're not hurting people maybe in your circle, but you're forgetting about the circle where you actually come from, because your identity changes. Do you know? Your family is no longer your family. Your family is the family that you roll around with, and then these are just people that, this is my blood. They're my family, but the thing is, when I say that, it's like you put more effort into the street family than you put into your own family. Yeah? Because you do everything. You risk your life. You risk your life just to get to something, just so you can give your family some of it. But you're risking your life every day with your street family just so you can nice up everybody, but just to give your family a change from it. Like, it just doesn't make sense. That's why I took this road that I took on. That's why I changed, because a lot of people ask me, bro, like, why are you doing this? Why are you doing that? Like, because I should be doing it. It's not a thing that I shouldn't be thinking about. Like I've changed my life, so it's only right I try and help people change their life, and like show them that there is options, there is hope outside of the street. I'm like one of the examples. Do you know what I mean? I'm living a good life. Like, I can work, I can earn, I can look after my family, I can walk around, I feel at peace. I feel at peace. It's taken me like a long time just to get down that road, Peace Street. It's taken me a long time, but I feel at peace. So like, working is really like, it's a good thing. It's not something people should turn up their nose about. Like, you young kids, you like save your lives now while you can. Don't allow yourself to get too deep in then and then become like another Frank, you know, sitting down at 30, 40, looking at your life and thinking, oh, I could have, I should have. You lot are still young enough now to find that exit, you know. Yes, like life is going to be a big change. It is. Even at 14, it's still going to be a big change. Even though you haven't lived life is going to be a big change. But the thing is, to be able to give yourself something to look back on and to even just applaud yourself that you took that right step at a young age. So, you know, you gave yourself a better chance in life. That's something that you can look back in years and say, like, you know what? I thank God I did that. Don't wait till you're 30. Don't wait till you're 40 to start making changes, because a lot of people may not even get there. So the one thing you don't want to do is just live that life with regrets. You know, I have a lot of regrets, but you know, I have a lot of good reasons to be proud of where I am now. I have a lot of good reasons, you know, like just to have your family back where you want them, you know, everybody supporting you honestly is a big thing for me. You know, I like my life has been very colourful. It's been very, very colourful. Like, there's been times where I've been through certain things. I didn't want to wake up. And that's because, you know, I've done so much dirt in my life that you sit there and you think about yourself when you're changing and you see like people around you are just passing away and you feel like I wasn't around long enough for them. I didn't get to know them the way I should have known them. Do you know what I mean? Because I was too busy engulfed in nonsense. So because of my focus was on the wrong things, like a friend that I grew with for 20 years, I could say I knew him for about 3-4 years because we spoke on the phone, but I didn't see him enough. Do you know what I mean? You lose touch of reality. I lost my brother, like I always say. Like, I saw him, I loved him, I did it, but I wish I'd have done a bit more. I wish I would have given him that brother, like I said before, like that, you know, that brother that he always longed for. Even though he was so proud of me, but the thing is, I needed to be proud of myself that I'm being the brother that I'm meant to be. Do you know what I mean? Not the brother that, you know, you have to accept me. You know what I mean? So like, it's been a tough journey. It has been a tough journey. You know, it's one that I could say like it's been eventful, but through change of direction, focus, stop making excuses for myself. I used to live on excuses. It's really given me like, you know, like a sense of hope. You know, that I can be that better man. I can sustain my footsteps right now. Do you know what I mean? There will be no U-turns made by my trainers. You know, I just gotta live it out the way I was meant to. You know, like sometimes I just sit down and I just think like, you know, I always get to that crossroads where, you know, when you're sitting down and life has just changed and you're so good and you just think to yourself like, why didn't I do this earlier? You know, like things could have been different. Like I took so many risks just to get to the same spot that we're in now. I could have just done it the normal way, like just like my brothers. All my brothers are successful. You know, they're doing very well in their fields, and you know, as an older brother, I feel some kind of way sometimes, because the thing is, when we sit down and we talk on things, like their stories of work are so like enlightening. They're like, right, I did this with this client and I did this. My brother's doctor, oh, you saved this life and you saved that. And I'm like, I don't have the same stories to share. Yeah, I'm in the gym game and I've got stories of gym and like that, but it's just, I'm not knocking myself for being in the field, yes, but I'm just, sometimes, you know, like their life stories are so like, it's like I'm intrigued by 30-year stories, 30 years of walking the straight path, 30 years of like doing good, and 30 years of cutting this deal and being able to stay out on the road legitly and never having to deal with drama and all that. Like, it's like reading a fantasy book. It's like, rah, what world are you lot from? So when I sit down, I'm like, you know, like when you see your favourite footballer, you know, as a young kid, you just want that autograph. It's like, I listen to my brothers, it's like I want an autograph off them, you know, because these lot are like, they're everything. You know, they're exactly what I want to be like, you know, working, doing the things the right way. Like, they set themselves up, they worked hard. Mum didn't give mum really too much stress or things to worry about. You know, I can openly say sometimes, like, I love my brothers. We don't always see eye to eye, but I love them to death. Literally. Like, they make me so proud when I sit down and I think of them. We don't talk as much and certain things, but like I love them, man. They've done so well. Even like I got a cousin Toya who's done so well. Like, these people have faced a lot of things naturally. Look like they've got over health issues and they elevated themselves. And I'm saying to myself, like, I didn't even have all of these issues that they've been through. Like, you know, battling with certain health issues that are life threatening, and you still manage to stay at your peak. I'm like, I didn't have all these dramas on my head as much as they did. Yes, I had the street things, but that's self-inflicted stuff. But they had real life reality issues that were relevant in the real world, and they still managed to sustain. Now that is drive, that is focus. And like, that is like one of my biggest regrets in life, that, you know, I wish I had more on the table to sit down with my brothers and talk about, you know, because I've given them so many pages of like street this, street that, street that. They're not really interested, you know. Like, yes, people can dabble with ideas and certain things, but like, it's not nothing I could teach them with, you know. So, but I can sit with them all day. A lot, like, I'll be lost in their stories. As the older brother, I'll be lost in their stories, because it's like, where do I start to even like to understand what they're talking about? Like, it even baffles me a little bit when I sit down, because I've been good for 15 years, but they've been good for like ever. So I'm like, I'm trying to understand their life story from halfway in, because I can't relate to the first pages, because it conflicts me so much, because I was meant to be the role model for them. And when you look at their lives, like, right, they were actually the role models for me. They gave me so many reasons to be patient, you know, that things can happen. But the thing is, I chose not to read the lines. You know, I just, you know, I edited the book to suit myself. I need to come back and have a look at myself and realise that I should have read the pages better. Because my brothers were living examples, the role models. Yes, I grew with no older brother, but the thing is, I had older brothers in my younger brothers. So many inspirations around me, but I still didn't listen. So, like, it's painful to sometimes sit down and reflect on your life, but you know what? You still got to be proud of myself that I made this transition. Do you know? I'm in a good position now. I can teach the kids, like my own kids, to teach them like there's steps in life that you don't need to take. You know, in life you don't always get what you want first time around, but it doesn't mean you're not gonna get it. You know, you have to be patient in life. Because remember, God's time is not your time. So in life, when we expect things, just have that little understanding that you may not get it, but it doesn't mean that you're not gonna get it at all. It just means that right now is not a good time for you. Do you know what I mean? There are other doors that you can open in the meantime until the right door opens for you in life, and it does. And it literally does. It literally does. You just got to believe in yourself. You know, take people's talks out of your ear. You know, everybody will tell you that, do you know what is, there's, oh, do you know what, you've got a record, nobody can't touch you, you've done this, you're too far gone. Nobody's too far gone. Nobody's too far gone. Somebody outside can't tell you you're too far gone. Because before you were there was someone else. And there was someone else that made it as well. There was many people that made victim of the game, but there's a lot of people that still made it out of the game. So you just got to look to the right person that you're trying to be like. Are you trying to be like the man that stayed in the game and ended up in the grave, or are you trying to be like the man that made it out of the game, changed his whole life around, and was able to save other people and as well as saving himself? Because you have to save yourself first before you can save anybody else. Otherwise you become a sacrifice again. So it's about respecting yourself, you know, like, we gotta just put down the excuses. Put down the excuses. Sometimes you have to even, like, sad to say, but sometimes you have to even lock off certain people. You know, the person you grow with, the person you run around with, the person you did this move with, the person you run up with, you in the clubs with, you got in the fights with. Like, sometimes you have to look at your life and actually ask yourself, was everything really worth it? And in these years that I've been doing all these things, how many times has this person told me, like, bro, you need to change your life? How many times have they said to you, like, you know, you need to think about your parents, you maybe need to think about your kids, you need to think about your missus? Like, we have to weigh these things up. Because the thing is, I've had to cut off a lot of people. And it's not that I don't have love for them, I still speak to people and that, but they understand. Because when I made that transition, I made the transition fully. I didn't make the transition with like hope of coming back to the game. I completely come out of the game. So I have a lot. I can know the people that I once was with. Like, you may say hello in passing, you speak to them on the phone, but the thing is, my journey is completely different. And I'm happy to say a lot of my friends that were alive still, that are with me, have changed their life around as well. They've realised a lot of things, because everybody's taken a hell of a loss. You know, somewhere down the line, everybody's lost somebody that meant something to them. And they just wish that they could have just been there. They could have just, you know, that they didn't have to put themselves in a situation to witness such a thing. You know, so, like, I've got so many friends that have come out of the game. They've started up their podcasts. They've started up, like, clothing brands. They've even gone into work, security guard, retail work. Like, for me, you see, when you come out of the game, that's the biggest day. That's the biggest celebration of your life. Now, what you do outside of the game to sustain you from going back to the game, there shouldn't be ego in it. Because my friend, if he told me he works in McDonald's, I'll be happy for him. Because the thing is, I could say that I remember a time where you were sitting down in a place where, like, where you know that money could cost us our life at this time. Do you know what I mean? Now you're just looking at the time, because every minute that you're sitting there at that till or making food or whatever, They're paying you for it. They're paying you for it. There's no, you're not going to get bumped. Nobody's running off with nothing. You're actually paying for it. So I'm always going to be proud. There's no ego when you change a game. Like, it doesn't matter what you're doing for a living. As long as it's legit, just do it. Because where you start doesn't mean that's where you finish. But you need to put yourself in a position where you can start and where you can elevate. So, like, when you come out of the street, the ego leaves it. You leave all that outfit that you used to wear, and I'm talking about outfit is the character. You know, you had to be a certain way. You looked your nose up at certain things, and you know, you couldn't do this, you couldn't do that. Oh, I'm not having it from there. Leave them aside. Leave them in that same street, because the thing is, you're going into the real world now where people only care about your work ethic. People only care about the manners that your parents gave you. All the things that you were taught when you were young, that were free of charge from your parents. These are the things that hold weight in the real world. Your manners, your work ethic, being like using your brain correctly. You know, these things earn you currency. They earn you money. They're sustainable. And this is what gives people that longevity in life, because now that you're focused, you can start aiming correctly. You can start planning what you're going to do with your money. You can start investing because you're in a position where people can help you, the right people. And the help that you're getting doesn't come with like an ultimatum. The help that you're getting doesn't come with a threat. The help that you're getting doesn't come with people turning up at your mum's house. The help that doesn't come with police. Because you're living in a legit world, you're dealing with legit people. You know what I mean? There's so many people out there that are in positions that can help. But they just want to know that you're worth investing in. That they can trust you. You see, in the game, you can't trust nobody. So the thing is, but in the real world, people want you, they want people to trust. They want people to trust. They want people to say, here, take this so I can go and build it. You know, they're ready to take the gamble on you. As long as you're ready to not gamble with yourself. You know, people are ready to gamble with their money just so you can elevate yourself. Now, if you put the respect on their money, you can also make money as well. You know, I know people that come out of the game, and people have like embraced their change. They've been helped, and now they sit down. When we sit down and we talk about the game, they laugh their head off. They just wish that they'd have met this person 20 years ago, but 20 years ago you weren't ready to meet these people because your mindset was different, your uniform was different, the criteria was different in your lifestyle back then. You would have met them 20 years ago, they would never have touched you today because you probably would have tried to rob them. You know, so when we sit down, we laugh about it, but the thing is, it's the reality of it. Because everybody with money back then, when you don't have money, it's January sales to you. It's like a buffet. You know, so like you're prepared to do the most for money. I was never a person who robbed people, but like there's people around you that like your mindset limits your opportunities. But just being around them kind of people makes me part of them people. So now when you come out into the real world, your mindset has to be different. You're dealing with people that have real money, multi-millionaires, you know, that spend millions every day on the things that you're killing yourself for, and he earned this legitly, just a few deals, a few investments. So now you could be dealing with proper guys that proper money and making money, that generational money that you doesn't come with a body. It doesn't come with a body. When I sit down and I was talking about in the last episode about the young 15-year-old boy, I was just reading more into him the other day. He's like, this kid has paid off his mum's mortgages. He bought his mum and dad a second house. He set up a business for them and fully financed it so they can just get on with it because they're of age now, and he just wants them to have a peaceful life. They don't have to worry about business rates. No, he's covered everything. And I'm sitting down and I'm saying to myself, rah, 15 years of age. I had, like, this kid, I'm 44, this kid is like, it's like a role model for me, because I'm sitting down and I'm researching this guy. I'm no longer researching like rappers and all these drug dealers and people that are just doing absolute foolishness with their life. I'm researching real life people, and look at that. One of the first go-to people was the same 15-year-old kids that we're trying to reach out there and trying to get the message to. Just to show them that, like, listen, you're on the road doing madness for this, but this little kid had the patience. He believed in himself, invested in himself, and now look, he's made more money than you've ever made in the whole street. And he's able to give his family what none of us could give their family being in the street. Do you know what I mean? Legitly. Without saying that this didn't come from here, there, we couldn't do that. He's changed their whole life. And to see, like, the mum, she's about, I think she was in her 60s, like, she was saying that she's planning to work for another 15 years before her son, like, saved her. And, like, I'm sitting down here and I'm thinking, like, rah, like, there's some real people out here that real belief. 15 years of age, like, he's so fabulous that I had to mention him again, because it's like, I sit down and I say to myself, if he can do it, why can't I do it? I've lived nearly 30 years longer than him. You know, I have so much experience in just life in general. Like, why can't I do that? He's 15. He may like he only started this game like 3 years ago. And he's worth 1.5 million, probably more now as we speak, because of the interest and the investments that he's made. I'm like, 25 years in the game, from young age, 30. Have I made 1.5 billion? Nope. All my brothers are legitly working, which is a good thing. But the thing is, this boy's done this for his family. Nobody has to work. The goal of it is to give was financial freedom, but you're not really free, because I have to go back to work in order to find that financial freedom. I had to quit what I thought was the move to find that financial freedom. And with that financial freedom, I'm talking about peace, you know. Peace. I can earn my money with no headache. I can earn my money and nobody's gonna pull me up, and I can earn my money with this. So that's financial freedom, what this kid has got. Like, it's amazing. It's amazing, but it just shows that anybody, like, yeah, you may say it's, but that's not for everybody. But the thing is, there was probably a stage in his life where he thought that it's not for me as well, and he realized to himself, like, you know what? Let me not limit myself. I can do this, because if you really want something in life, you can get it. You just have to work hard for it. It doesn't come now. You know, with the things that come now, come too much headache. But if you invest in yourself, fully invest in yourself, you know that anything you invest in, at some point it has to grow. If you keep watering that seed enough, it will grow, and it'll grow into the biggest tree that you've ever seen in your life. If you care for it and you put the same effort into it, it will grow. You see, because we'll run the street red ragged, night and day. Some people don't even change clothes. They don't shower because they want that pound. Imagine if you took that same work ethic and put it into the real world, into a job, and run it ragged the same way you did. Imagine making that legit money. Bang, bang, bang. Same hours you're putting into the street. But the thing is, the difference is, you'll be working to a set time, you go home. Yes, it's a long day, but the thing is, it's not as long as them day and night shifts that you're doing up and down meeting crackheads. You know, surround yourself with all these zombies like you're in Thriller. You know what I mean? It's big difference. You're running up and down in the legit world, and you're meeting people that can actually take you to the next level. You're meeting people that could, you know, one contract could give you that financial freedom like that young boy. One contract could mean that your kids don't have to work in life. One contract could mean that your missus could retire at 30 or 40. One contract could mean that, Mum, you can go back to Nigeria if you want to go back to Nigeria. Here, take the money. It's a big difference. The peace that you give, you could bring to your family and all that, but yeah, it takes time. But everything is achievable. Like I've said before, every penny in life is available. How much do you want of it? Because if you work hard enough, you can get as much as you need. Yeah, there's a work ethic that requires it. There's a case of a little bit of luck. But the thing is, you know what it is? It starts with a dream, and once you give that dream legs, no one can't stop that dream from running off and reaching that finishing line. Only you can. Do you know what I mean? So we just gotta believe that we can be better. Believe there's a better life across the road. Yeah, there's a better life just across that road at the exit, like outside of the street. There's a better world out there. I'm saying that because the thing is, look, I'm telling you that I feel a way sometimes sitting down with people. You know, because when people ask you, so what have you been doing for the past 30 years? Yeah, I've been on the street. I had 4 phones. Like, I dealt with, like, I've met people of all different backgrounds. Oh yeah, interesting. I've met black crackheads, Asian crackheads, white crackheads, Chinese crackheads. I've met, like, global. Like, it's not a thing, man. It's not. It is like embarrassing. Because when you sit down next to the person who's, yeah, I'm not saying write yourself off, like, because when you change, you know, you embrace that change. But when you sit back on your life, like, your CV is full of dog shit, man. Like, it's a lot of shit that, like, it never did you no good. Because when you're sitting down there and you're comparing CVs with someone in the street, yes, it's impressive. Because they want to support you on your CV. Your CV will get you any employment anywhere in the streets. But the thing is, in the real world, when you sit down with real people that can really change your life around, it's like, wow. Wow. I never really realized the damage I've done to myself until I sat down with a real person. In the street, like, you're around people that are real for the wrong reasons, you know. So your CV, it intrigues them. Like, there's a sense of, like, even people could be proud of your CV, and, like, they give you ratings for your CV. But the thing is, in the real world, with people that actually care about you and people that could actually change your life, it means nothing. It means nothing, because the street life don't make you employable in the real life. It means what makes you employable in the real life is changing your life, humbling yourself down. You know, realize that, make yourself teachable, make yourself approachable, unlearn the things that hindered you. Put yourself on the right path so people, you can walk with people and like learn new things, do you know? Instead of just getting groomed by bad things. You know? People will take you under the wings and they'll teach you things that can change your life. That can give you substance, give you productivity, give you, like, a different kind of intellect, where you'll be dealing with people of all different races as well. But We're talking on serious business. You know, it doesn't have to be that crackhead at 12 o'clock at night with your hood up for 20 quid. I could be sitting that down with another guy from wherever earning £20,000 at a meeting, £10,000 at a meeting, even £500 at a meeting. Like, it's a big deal. It's a big deal, because the thing is, I'm sitting down in a place now where I'm earning money that changes lives. I'm earning money that I can do proper things with, I can build with. Like, you go to a bank with your money, the first thing they do, you put your money in there. They're gonna ask you where your money come from, because there's no trails of you. Police see you with your money, you get stopped. 10 grand, but where'd you get this money from? But I've put 10 years of work in the streets. I've earned it legitly, officer, because in the streets your world is legit. In the streets you believe that your world is legit, because that's why you work so hard for it. But the thing is, the officer's not interested. Now I got 10 grand of worth of legit money. The officer comes to me, I'll say yeah, because my money comes with a payslip. It comes with a VAT number. It comes with all the things that they can't take away from me. You know, and it even comes with a respect. Do you know that stereotype that they had of me because I got my hood up? When I open my mouth and I start speaking certain things, they have to put some respect on me. They may not like it, but they have to put some respect on me. I can confidently stand there and say, and talk with them and say, yeah, well, I've been working for 15 years. You can't tell me nothing. I've earned my money. It's a big, big difference. It's a big, big difference. So we got to start putting ourselves in positions where, you know what, we can't be victims. We can't be exploited. We can't be, you know, used for the wrong things. Put yourself in a position where, you know what, I'm earning money, but my money is life-changing, generational, can help my family. And the thing is, nobody can't take it away from you. Love yourself. Focus. Put some focus on your life, and trust me, it's hard, but it's the most rewarding steps you'll ever earn and ever take in your life, because the bigger picture is beautiful. Just think pension. You ain't ever getting that in the street. Just think, I can put money in the bank. I don't have to hide it in my room. I don't have to stack. I can invest my money. You know, nobody can't take this money away from me. I can give my kids whatever they want legitly, and there's no stories behind my money. I can actually sit down now and I can give my kids money, and I don't have to lie about where I got it from. It's that deep. Come on, people, man. Kids, grown-ups, like, let's all pull in the same direction, man. You know, our life doesn't have to be like just a downhill struggle. You know, you can turn around and climb back up that mountain, you know, and just put some love on our families, put some love on our names, put some love on ourselves, you know. Let's be them people we're meant to be. Peace out.